Yes, ma'am. Call the meeting to order. Ask that you please stand for a moment of silence. If you'll please remain standing, I'd ask Ms. Saylor if you'd like to come up and introduce your student from Clark that's going to do the pledge for us tonight.
Our student is Prem Patel. Prem is currently in 5th grade. He wants to go to Vanderbilt University and be a surgeon. He loves playing baseball and soccer, and his favorite subjects are math and science.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first item of business tonight is to vote for the new director of schools. As most of you know, Dr. Holman's contract is good with us through June. I'll open the floor up.
Make a motion to recommend Dr. Roger Alsop for the Director of Schools.
A second.
We have a motion by Mr. Williams, a second by Ms. Schultz. We will need a roll call on this, Ms. Patty. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes. Dr. Alsop will invite you to come if you'd like to talk for a
Well,
little
I
bit.
don't want to take too much time talking, but I do want to thank some people, board, thank you so much for your confidence. What an honor to lead Franklin County School District, and I'm very humbled. And thank you so much for your confidence and support, Dr. Holman. Thank you for your support and your encouragement. We've talked about this many times, and I appreciate that. And I've got your phone number, so you're not going to hold me down. And I also want to thank my wife and my daughter, Kelsey, for coming and all the support they've given me. And I'm ready to get started. Thank you so much.
Ms. Walker, I'd like to also make a motion to give the board chair authority to enter into contract negotiations with Dr. Alsop.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Williams and a second by Ms. Roberts.
Could he
Yes, ma'am.
repeat his motion, please?
To enter into contract negotiations with Dr. Alsop,
Okay.
the board.
The whole board?
Well, the board chair is the spokesman, so she would,
But it would be something that you would go over, yes.
yeah,
Would we have the opportunity to review it?
Yes.
And offer input if we felt the
Absolutely.
need to do that? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
just tough for us to all sit and huddle around and negotiate.
I'm not cheap.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. All right, that takes us to the next item, which is public input. And I noticed from the clipboard that Ms. Patty's brought up that we have 3 people who would like to speak. On the Deckard Elementary, I remind you, you all 3 may speak. You have a time limit of 3 minutes. I believe Jasmine Mosley is the first one on the list.
So, I'm not too good at this kind of stuff, so just give me just a second. My name is Jasmine Mosley. I'm a parent of a student that attends Deckard Elementary since pre-K, and he is now in 4th grade. I am concerned that we parents are unaware of anything that was going on at the school. My child was in RTI struggling with almost everything, including his speech, every subject that he had, and he is now top of his class thanks to those programs. I was so concerned that when I put him in RTI that he was going to be bullied, and Miss Megan Gear assured me that he would not, and that it would be the best move for my son, and that it would help him strive. And as it turned out, she kept her word, and now he is thriving. And I'm sorry, I lost my place. She made sure that he had the right fit to build his confidence. We, the parents, need to know a direct cause of why she was taken from our children that adore her so much in the middle of a school year like she was a criminal, while Mr. Holman gets to stay until June. Why would the parents not be allowed to weigh in on such a decision? Were the board members even notified before the transfer took place? What was the urgency? I feel like it is a complete attack on her reputation. Why was she attacked in the way that it made it look like she was a criminal, that she had to be removed with such a swift action? She has done so much for the kids and the community and the staff, and I feel like she was only thanked with a swift kick in the ass with a Gucci shoe. I'm finished.
I think next is Dicky, Wendy.
I am also here for Deckard Elementary. I am here as a parent. My children went to Deckard Elementary. I am here as a grandmother. I have 2 grandchildren at Deckard Elementary. And I am here as a member of the Deckard Elementary school system. Yes, our schools is great. We are one big family over there. And when you attack one, you attack all. I don't understand a lot of this. No school should have their principal pulled in the middle of the year, with the only explanation being we need to go in a different direction. What direction do you think this will take us? Deckard has around 400 students, 63 staff members, and in one day, you have devastated not one person, and just one person in her family, but 463. Trust is gone. We have no trust. Now we have an environment of uncertainty, which proves that no matter how hard you work towards improvement, it only takes one person to ruin years of work. Our students, staff, and Ms. Gear deserves better. A decision like this should not ever be left up to one person. Y'all stood here and voted together for this. That should have been voted on also. I doubt if it was even considered of what devastation would be left behind with this redirection. And if improvements are about scores, every school has ups and downs. Ms. Gear and our teachers have worked hard to find the best way for our students to learn and to grow and be successful. Our kindergarten was top in the county last year in Ames Webb. Is that not improvement? Our students are tested throughout the year, and yes, our scores are going up, but it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a team working together and a leader like Ms. Gear who encourages our students and our teachers every day. She gives 110%, no matter what. She has made a difference and an impact on our school and everyone in it. Improvements only work when everyone works together, helping, growing, and learning. And this includes the support from everyone, even the board members and our superintendent. I only hope that you will see that this was wrong. And a major change such as this in a school system should not be left up to one person. It should be done in the right way, at the right time, and for the right reasons. Thank you.
I think Johnny, is it Bieber? Barber? I couldn't tell for sure if it was an E or an
I don't have anything prepared, so I'm just going to say how I feel. My name is Johnny Berber. I am the PTO president at Deckard Elementary. I have a grandson in 3rd grade. I took custody of him because of certain issues, but every other school that he's been to, he has had problems. Nobody wanted to give him the chance. Nobody wanted to let him speak. Nobody wanted to work with him. Since he has been at this school, from where he was at to now, is 100% improvement. Every teacher can tell you that. Ms. Gear can tell you that. Anybody can. Ms. Gear was his person. I've been to that school. I go there all the time. Ms. Gear is always with those children. She's always taking care of them. She is always active in their lives. It makes no sense to pull her from this school this close, one, to the end of the school year for no reason and nobody knows. This close to them having their test. My grandson came home crying Friday because he was so upset about it. This has disrupted their entire lives when she could have stayed till the end of the year if there was no major problems. We want answers. That's really all we want. Why would you do this to these children this close to the end of the school year and disrupt their lives? That's all we ask for is clarity. Thank you.
Thank you. While we appreciate your input, I want to remind you all that this board doesn't have anything to do with personnel issues. Those issues fall solely on the office of the director. We don't dabble in that. So I appreciate you coming and talking. I hear you. But as far as us being able to do anything about that, we can't. With that said, we'll move on to item F, which is approval of the agenda. Board members, please take a look.
Motion to approve.
There was another name on the list, wasn't there?
Ms. Walker, I'm sorry, that was my fault. I thought you were only letting one person speak.
No, there's something started here but not finished.
Andre, and I said they're only letting one person speak.
Oh, sure, Andre, come on. I didn't see, it looked like where somebody had started to write something.
I didn't finish it.
Come on,
My fault.
be glad to hear you.
Thank you so much. My name's Andre Hall Finney. I'm a first-year teacher at Deckard Elementary, and I've had many career paths. Over my 37 years, I was a nurse and decided college was important to me, and I went back to school and got my bachelor's degree. I last was employed at the University of the South, and I want to say I heard about the iTeach program from Sandra Stewart, and a few years ago I started that program because I have a special needs son. He is my calling. I work at special ed at Deckard, and I know the need for teachers in special ed. And Ms. Gear was the first person to give me a chance at that. She's not only was a mentor to me, a leader to me, she's a friend. And in my heart, breaks for her. It breaks for our students that were crying, that we don't know how to fix the problem and them to understand what really happened. And as a mother, that breaks my heart because I love my children, my own children and my children at school, just like they are my own. And I will forever be grateful for Megan to give me the chance she did into education. And as I see Ms. Schultz and Ms. Walker in front of me, y'all are leaders for me when I was in school. And I give you the utmost respect, but Ms. Gear did not deserve what she received. And the meeting that was held with teachers and staff was very cold, I'll just say. My heart goes out to her and her family, and I just hope we can do better as a county. This is my hometown, and I don't want us to lose teachers or lose students to other counties. We should grow here at home. And Ms. Gear, if there was a change needed to be made, it should have happened in May, not in the middle of the year. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, have I left anyone else off? Okay, we'll move to approval of the agenda. I believe we had a motion on the floor to approve the agenda by Mr. Williams. Do we have a second?
Second.
second by Ms. Roberts. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. That takes us to the consent agenda. There's about 6 field trips on there. You can take a look at them. Of course, our board minutes are on there from last month as well. The FC Skills USA State Conference, and I believe that's CTE, is that not, Ms. Mitchell, did you say? Okay, I thought it was. And then FC is FFA State Convention, and then the HOSA State Leadership Conference, and then FBLA, Huntland FBLA as well, and then finally, the FC cheer team is going to summer camp in June.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Williams to approve the consent, second by Ms. Lefty. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. That takes us to the director's report, Dr. Coleman.
All right, we'll get started with Director Spotlight. Brought to our attention, we were recognizing our student athletes, and we're glad that we're doing that. But then at each board meeting as well, a school principal represents his or her school and shares different highlights. But we wanted to add another spot because many times there are things that are overlooked, and we want to acknowledge that. So on the screen you will see, we want to acknowledge the Franklin County High School's FFA. We had Ms. Abigail and also Ms. Emma, who were the top 2 at Crimson Clover District Public Speaking Contest. And then at Rock Creek during board appreciation, their student ambassadors hosted the board members. They did a phenomenal job upon entry and also while we were there. Next, we have from Huntland, 12th grade student, is it Kenaya? Kenna?
Yes, Kenna.
Kenna, all right. She, the 25-26 GARS Good Citizen Award. But then from Swanee as well as Broadview, our students participated in the 4-H sub-regional. And you can see there, we had representatives from Swanee that got first place, Ms. Susie, and then, as I call them, they're young people, but I call them Mr. Frank. He got second, and then Ren got second, representing 4th grade, and then Maya representing 5th grade. No, got 5th place representing 4th grade there. So we appreciate our students participating in 4-H as well. And then some highlights. South Middle School has launched their own media network. So you're going to be hearing more from the Trojan Media Club. We're glad to see that is up and going. And then just last week, our very own teacher at the high school, Ms. Abigail Anderson, she was featured as the Educator of the Week for WKRN. They came and is it this Thursday?
Yes.
This Thursday they're coming. This Thursday to.
They came, I think,
Okay. And so we commend her for the work that she is doing there at Franklin County High School. And as I shared with the Education Commission, breaking news, our very own, and as you can see tonight, there are many things going on with our CTE, and our very own Ms. Mitchell is taking center stage in D.C. To represent our school district on a national level. So we are excited for Ms. Mitchell as she is going. And then Ms. Cynthia Young, the principal over at Cowan, she is also the facilitator for our Grow Your Own. And I shared with you all earlier as well that she has been contacted by Vanderbilt University, and the state of Tennessee, with the work of Vanderbilt, is going to be highlighting our district as a model on how we as a district are really giving attention to growing our own and them staying in our district and educating our kids. So want to highlight that. Those are our highlights for the director's moment. And now straight into the platform of the individual going to D.C., none other than Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me tonight. So we're going based on our work with the JFF grant. That was the Job for the Futures. And it was the work that we did with TCAT and Nissan on dual enrollment. So that's what we're going to promote is dual enrollment. So I do represent CTE for the district, and we really work on our workforce development. So we have a huge impact on that. Today we're going to look at CLNA, that's our comprehensive local need, program growth, and TDOE, the 4 pillars. So the CLNA is something we do every 2 years, and we can have a certain number of slides, so I'm going to rush through this real quick. Healthcare is number 1 when we look at our district. Nurse practitioner and physician assistant are the 2 big jobs. Advanced manufacturing is next, construction and business management. All those have a 50% or greater growth, and they are in that high wage, high demand area. Our program growth, we added human studies this year. Last year, our construction program, our teacher retired, and we did not have anyone apply for that. So we added human studies and culinary. So I lost Miss Whitney Davis from our career coach, and she did a fabulous job with that, but she is also doing a fabulous job at Franklin County High School in that position. So she did a box lunch. Miss Rachel Shields worked with Dr. Hollins to do a career college going fair, and so they put together some lunch boxes for that, and then she also helped Kiwanis, the big Christmas on the square, and they put together some packages for that. We are always looking to grow. I really feel that practicums give students experience. We want them to have experience. We want them to have exposure. So this year we added a CJ criminal justice practicum. And this is our second year having dual enrollment at the Franklin County campus. So what you see is centers of excellence. You see a lot of wiring, electrical things. This is a partnership between Franklin County School District, Nissan, and TCAT. We will have sophomores that finish this program. This is about a 632-hour program. We will have sophomores finish that this year, and we hope that they get to go to TCAT and do industrial maintenance in the fall. That is our goal and our plan for them. The executive directors from all of the North America plants come and tour these centers of excellence. There are 4 in the area, and the VP of Deckard was very impressed with the robotics that those young sophomores could do. He tried to stump them, and he finally just was like, y'all got this. If you'll hit the next one. So project-based learning, problem-based learning is something that has been added into CTE. It was placed in every program of study. So we've really reached out to the community. Franklin County FFA, they did a landscaping project. So it's more than just doing a project. They had to do the research to find what was the best plant, the lighting, was gravel better than mulch, those types of things. So it's more than just doing a project. They really have to do a lot of research. Health science put together some projects for us. Our STEM worked with bits and pieces to come up with jumps for horses, and some of these horses are being rehabilitated themselves, so they had to do research on those. And then Huntland is known for their hydroponics and what they do for phyllo, so I wanted to feature and make sure that Huntland's for that. Speaking of Huntland, there is our barn project. We plan to have our first meeting Friday with Mountain View, and so there is the layout, the timeline for that. So we hope to be done with this in June, and this is something that we are super excited about for this opportunity. All right, I wanted to show you this. So Future Ready, Tennessee TDOE came around and did a road show, and so they talked about the 4 pillars of education. Credentials of value. I usually give some type of what do we do. We offer at least 12. Every year we do, try to do more. So we've already got 2 new credentials this year. So I think we're doing a very good job. I really push to the teachers, and I couldn't do anything that I do without my teachers. I hope you guys know that. So please don't think that this is a Suzanne Mitchell. I couldn't do it without my teachers. But the other thing they're focusing on is seamless transition. I'm going to combine this with advising. So we have looked at, this is Pathways to Careers. High school and beyond plans is a big deal. So they are supposed to have, our students are supposed to have their academic pathway lined out through their 2nd year of college. And so we want to give them a snapshot of what that would look like. So I don't want to give them a cookie cutter, but I want to say here's some options. So I would like to have that for every program of study that we have here in Franklin County School District. So you can look at this management and entrepreneurship, and I want it for all students. I want it for our students with IEPs. I want it with our students who take honors. So it's letting a student know, hey, 9th grade I would do this, and I have honors options. And then it goes down to what the electives are. And my question is, if this is their career focus, is it really an elective? You know, if this is what's giving them their industry cert, helping them be TISA outcomes, CCR, is this really an elective? But there are those electives, and then we want them to know additional electives. So I have sat down with the counselors, and we have gone to these majors at college, And we've looked to see, what do they need? If I go into that as a freshman, what math classes am I going to have? So we have put some additional electives to help them be prepared, because we don't want somebody going to college that says, I'm going to be a doctor and never took biology 2. We don't want someone going to college, I'm going to be an engineer, and they never stepped into a higher math class than, maybe pre-cal or something. So we're wanting to prepare them. That's our job. My job is more than to get them across the stage. My job is to prepare them for after, the what if. So that's where we're going. I've got work to do. I've got to find out what those careers are so that they know they can go and get a certificate, a bachelor's, or an advanced degree. So I've got a little bit of work to do on that, but that's where we're going. This is middle school. You guys are aware of our Paxton Patterson Labs. We were the first in Tennessee to get that. We got a shout out today in Wilson County again for the work that we do with that. So very proud of that. And that is part of that seamless transition. We're wanting them to know early. And then the last pillar is work-based learning. And this is our Nissan students. Our Nissan students, they interview for this. This is competitive. Every one of these students is in at least their second year or second trimester of TCAT. So we are so proud of what these kids are doing at Nissan. They're right there side by side. If you can come to the end of the year capstone, I would love for you to come to that. It's so impressive. Something that work-based learning offers are the programs that we don't offer at the high school anymore. So I just wanted you to know, sometimes we find that kid and we can't offer them what they want. Work-based learning can. So this is one of our kids that will graduate with the Industry 4.0 distinction. He is doing HVAC. So here you see him shaping that metal and bending that metal to make ductwork for HVAC. And I said, we have an impact on workforce development. Our students of today are the workforce of tomorrow. So thank you for your support. I couldn't do this without you guys, without all the support. So thank you very much. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're wonderful.
Thank you, thank you.
One thing she didn't say, on the capstones, last year's capstones, like she said, if you could ever get a chance to go out there at the very end of the year, because Nissan took one of the students' capstone projects and has now embedded it in their practice at their plant.
Neat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hence why she's going to DC. All right, at this time, our spotlight tonight on the elementary school is Clark Memorial. Ms. Say.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Holman, Dr. Ossip, and colleagues. It is a privilege to stand before you tonight representing the heart and soul of Clark Memorial Elementary, our students, our community, and the dedicated staff you see on the screen here. I want to start by introducing my school and who we are. At Clark Memorial, our identity is clear. We are warriors. We are respectful, responsible, inspired, optimistic, ready, and strong. These are just some of our people. I want to begin our time together by grounding my report today in a biblical worldview. Proverbs 15:22 states, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed." I view this meeting tonight not just as a formality, but as that biblical counsel. We are here to advise one another, to share the reality of our school, and to plan for success together. We are transparent about our wins and our losses and our challenges because we know that wisdom comes from this shared partnership. Our mission at Clark Memorial is to empower students to achieve excellence in both learning and character by embracing our core values of respect, responsibility, inspiration, optimism, readiness, and strength. And tonight, I want to share with you evidence of that empowerment. First, I want to start off with our academic highlights, ELA. As you can see down at the bottom, this was our 2004-2005 TCAP test results. We are incredibly proud of our third grade team. When you look at the 2024-2025 TCAP results, Clark Memorial is definitely delivering. Our school results was 39%, the district was 35%. In math, it was 45.5%, and the district was 35%. This year so far, as you can see, we are already showing growth in exact path in every single grade, and we are moving many of our people out of the tier 3 and tier 2 and moving them into tier 1, especially in kindergarten, 3rd grade, and 2nd grade. Now, this success didn't happen overnight or by accident. It happens because of intentional support. For this year, we are continuing that momentum. We have invested at our school in iExcel for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. We are holding bi-monthly data meetings to interpret student needs, and we are utilizing fluid intervention groups. We're going to be very focused this year on our 2nd grade and making sure that our 2nd grade are not just learning to read when they get to 3rd grade, but reading to learn, and that's where we want them to be. We are determining that this early intervention ensures that they walk in the door next August, making sure that they are ready to read the curriculum. Now, we are seeing lots of growth in our exact path, as you can see there as well. We can move to the next slide. We also have growth here in math. The first one is the fall. The last one is the winter. And you can see that every single grade, now there are some offliners in the middle where someone might have taken a test who wasn't supposed to, but every grade from 1st to 5th has shown growth in math this year as well. We also know that students cannot learn if they don't feel safe and welcomed. I'm going to play a short video that highlights our environment and family highlights as well as our fluid interventions.
This video highlights the positive school environment at Clark Memorial Elementary. We celebrate diversity, school spirit, safety improvements, and cleanliness. Our environment highlights include recognizing STAR students, Students of the Month, and utilizing PBIS. We also recognize teacher and staff appreciation, along with support from Winchester First Baptist and Winchester First United Methodist. Family engagement is strong with partnerships like PEEPS, Cleanup Day, and the Warrior Committee. We've also enjoyed events like the Fall Festival, Haunted House, and Pictures with Santa. The Warrior Committee has achieved several goals, including the Fall Festival and a field trip to Granddaddy's farm. Future goals include the Golden Warriors Club banquet and a field day grill out. We are implementing fluid interventions, which are detailed in the included RTI lists and intervention room schedules.
All right, so to talk about just a couple of these things, safety is really big this year for us. If you've been to our school, we have just built had the vestibule built, and we're still working on that. One of the things that we've worked on is this year, around probably Friday of this week, everyone in our school, every teacher will have a safety backpack that's filled with like a tourniquet and other first aid. We also are big on PBIS, and so we have given out at least 2. Some grades have decided to do 3 or 4, depending on how many teachers they are, of these Student of the Month signs. We do a PBIS store where we open up the store and we have tickets, because we want to focus on positive behavior instead of negative behavior. Diversity. We cherish the rich diversity of our school. This year we had performances honoring the celebrations and the traditions of Mexico, Central America, and South America, as well as one of our plays that highlighted the Festival of Lights, Diwali. And then cleanliness is going to be very big for us this year. We are making sure that our building communicates respect for our children. We also have, as you've seen here in this video, lots of partnerships. One of the partnerships that we're very proud of is PEEPS. It's providing essentials and for our people. And this is a nonprofit, and one of the things that they do is they make sure that they provide our children with maybe clothes or food or things like that. When Cumberland Apartments caught on fire this past year, for example, they immediately called up and they asked us who was affected, which students, not names, but the sizes of their clothes and shoes, and they were able to go out and buy those items, and the families were just so overjoyed by the fact that they were given that. And then, of course, our Fall Festival this year, and we have lots of things that we want to do with our Fall Festival next year as well. Now, here at the bottom is a reference hub. One of the things I'm big on this year is making sure that all of my teachers know everything and where everything is, and they don't have to go looking for it in Google Drive, and they know our procedures, they know what's expected, and so this hub provides that for them, as well as our informative website. Here, and if you scroll down, the first part are all types of Screencastify videos that we have made for our parents so that they know how to navigate certain programs here at our school. And if we go back, the last thing I want to highlight is our newsletters. We give out newsletters every month in both English and Spanish to make sure that we are highlighting diversity. If we move here, we have 3 FC Educational Grant recipients. We can click on that link there.
Through a generous $1,500 grant, Sarah Curtis launched the Living Museum Project. Students explored their diverse backgrounds using interactive displays featuring ancestral heritage, family narratives, and cultural food traditions. Each student also received a copy of Dreamers by Yuyi Morales for their home library. Rebecca Van de Ven received $1,800 to create a memorable theatrical production aiming to improve student confidence, resilience, and reading comprehension. Theater has shown great success in boosting confidence and bringing comprehension to life, especially for English language learners. Jolene Brandon received $500 for an upcoming project where 95 third graders will learn Native American basket weaving. This skill, passed down through generations, aligns with the CKLA Unit 8 on Native Americans, focusing on regions and cultures.
Now, as you know, plans fail for lack of counsel, and this is where we might need some help. These are our areas of opportunity. We're seeing that even though our third graders are soaring, we do have some upper grades that are facing headwinds. Our 4th and 5th grade, and currently our 1st grade as well with Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention. And so this year, we are trying to make sure that we are providing interventions for 4th and 5th graders. We also bought the IXL programs for them to make sure that we are working on that. You can move to the next slide. Then we are also wanting to work on at our school chronic absenteeism. Last year, our chronic absenteeism was 18%. Right now, it's 5.8%, and it may change a little bit. But one of the things that we do is we do a daily shout out where we make sure that we shout out those that have perfect attendance. We do a board where we keep up with every week the average of attendance, and then the grade that has the highest average attendance for the month will receive a prize. We are also working with Eric Van Zant. We're going to be launching on March the 19th a new program that we called Hero, Be a Hero campaign. Be here every day, ready and on time. And so that is something that we're going to be starting with next year as well. We, of course, do our standard 5-day letters, 10-day letters, and letters from me as the principal as well. And then down at the bottom, one of the things that we want to work on, remember I told you that PBIS is big for our school this year. We want to focus on positive. And one of the things that we want to do is for our teachers, we want to embrace restorative justice. We want to make sure that the language that we say in school builds community, not compliance. That's the mindset. We want to get out of that mindset of everything has to be compliance. It's more community. They feel connected. And so we want our teachers to be trained in restorative circles. We're looking at professional developments that could offer some of that training to them. We are wanting to work with a partnership called Awake My Soul Coalition that trains people in restorative justice and the language when they speak to someone. And we do, to go along with our restorative justice, we do need an additional school counsel, advocate, or therapist. Right now, the state of Tennessee recommends 1 to 250 ratio. At this time that I did the PowerPoint, it was 1 to 528. We just got 5 new students. We're up to 533 students at Clark Memorial. Now, if we went back to slide 6, here you can see that we also need some targeted investments in staff. a fourth grade teacher, RTI teacher. We are getting a focus intervention tutor due to a grant, so we're very excited about that. We would like to keep that position for next year as well. Now, as I said, as a biblical worldview, one of my favorite verses is Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Tonight, I ask that you help sharpen us. Provide us with the iron, the staff and resources we need so that we can sharpen these students into the warriors they are created to be and are prepared for the battles of this world. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Saylor. Now we'll go to the project updates. I shared this with you all with the Education Commission group so that you have that in front of you. The updates from Mr. Clark's department. Calhoun Elementary, the water source heating pumps was installed. Also, the softball press box deck, there's continued work on it. The annex football dressing room, as well as we talked about, we endured all of the winter storms that came our way through the electrical heating systems as well as our water pipes. And now to athletics. Oh.
Hey everyone, Dr. Conjanabout. I'm the athletic director and assistant principal over at North Middle School. And I'm here to provide the February 2026 update for the Franklin County School District Athletic Department. We're going to look at some outstanding individual student athletes and also reviewing our financial report. So first up, we have North Middle School. If we have folks in the room today that are here, student athletes in the room today, we'd like for them to stand up so we can give them applause too. But we begin with Kendall Mason. She is in the room today. Kendall Mason. She's a flyer at North Middle School. Kendall is a dedicated cheerleader who's currently perfecting her pike jumps and highlights the social and team building value of our middle school programs. And Coach Corbin, do you have anything else to add about outstanding Kendall Mason? I know she's a role model for our school.
She is. She's a true leader for our team, and we just adore having her. She is the definition of putting in the work with a good smile on her face. Congratulations, Kendall.
Now we're going to go to South Middle School. We recognize Brooklyn Barnes. Brooklyn is an 8th grade cheerleader who has maintained first honor roll status throughout her entire time at South Middle School. She is active in Beta Club and FCA and plans to pursue nursing or interior design at UTK in the future. Huntland Middle School. Everly Stewman is a 6th grade spotlight from Huntland Middle School with 7 years of dance experience. She was recently nominated as an All-American and selected for the Disney dance team. Beyond her 4.0 worthy focus in science and social studies, she is a leader through her positivity and dreams of becoming a cardiosurgeon. We're going to go ahead and move on to Huntland High School. Stratton Davis is a sophomore that represents Huntland. Stratton is a multi-sport athlete in basketball and cross country who played at the varsity level as early as 8th grade. She serves as a class secretary and is involved in 5 different clubs, including FFA and the Interact Club. Franklin County High School. At Franklin County High School, we have 2 historic milestones to celebrate. Senior Nakaja Holman and Junior Grayson Baggett both reached the 1,000 career point mark this season. Coach Darrell Jarley notes that Nakaja has been a vital leader for the Rebelettes for 4 years. Grayson has helped lead the team to a district championship and their first region win in many years. Let's, keep Grayson in our thoughts and prayers. She's going through some things right now. Principal Eastlick's here to help support too, but continue to keep Grayson in our thoughts and prayers. All right, so our financial updates, high-level overview. If you have any questions about this, we have Ms. Jenny Phillips in the room. But overall, in summer, our athletes are excelling both in the classroom and on the court, and our department remains fiscally disciplined as we move through the second half of the school year. So, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Conjanabout. All right, Dr. Also, personnel.
Okay, we have a short list again this month, and we anticipate that picking up a little bit. We're starting the prime hiring season. We continue to have a lot of applicants using the online platform. That has just been very successful. We have 19 positions open today, and some of those may have been filled. I can't remember if we've hired some of those yet or not. We're still very busy in the office.
That's it. All right, let's go to the next item, which is I, the legislative update. Ms. Marheski.
So the legislature is in session and has been in session for almost a month. We should have an Education Freedom Scholarship update. So I'll start with that. Last month was Governor Lee's State of the State address, and so here is an excerpt from his written speech. He said, "Last year we gave families school choice with the Education Freedom Scholarship Program because parents know best. Clearly Tennesseans like freedom. Last year we received more than 40,000 applications, and this year 54,000 applications so far for 20,000 spots. That means right now 34,000 students are still waiting for a shot at education freedom. We owe it to them. We don't have to look far to see how education freedom is changing lives. Down the road in Antioch, 77% of students enrolled at Lighthouse Christian School are there because they received a scholarship from the state." My interjection is that because the state is not tracking where students were ahead of time, even though he says that 77% of students are there because they received a scholarship, there's no way to know whether that's actually true or not. It's assumed that a really high number of students who have these education freedom scholarships were already in private school. So that's important to share. And he ends with saying, it isn't enough, and I agree. Growing the program would open the doors of opportunity for thousands more children statewide. This is why we should empower parents. This is why we need education freedom, and this is why we should, at the very least, double the amount of scholarships this year for Tennessee students. So this year, it was set to add 5,000 more spots based on the way the formula runs, as I say later. What if there are applicants for 75% of the spots? So Governor Lee, again, wants to add an extra 15,000 spots. Again, our concern here is that instead of using this money to empower our students in the public schools, he's using the money to empower private schools. And as Ms. Lichty often says, parents are free to make choices that they think are best for their kids, but why are we using state money to do that? In Chalk Beats, Governor Lee wants $155 million to fund 20,000 new vouchers. Melissa Brown shares that the proposed EFS program costs would be a fraction of the overall $7.9 billion proposed for the K-12 education budget. But the voucher expansion would account for 1/3 of the state's total year-over-year increase in education funding. In his budget proposal released on Monday, a week ago, Lee called for nearly $380 million of new funds for K-12 education in the state. Though the K-12 budget has grown, it is the lowest proposed new spending infusion for education in the last 5 years. And so to put this in a little more context, one of the resolutions that we've passed, one of the things on TSBA, kind of the school board education thing for the state, that we're pushing for is to have money to help fund the peer model special ed pre-K program, which is basically kind of an unfunded mandate. We have 4 sections of this preschool program in our district, and the district has to put in most of the money for that. The state isn't funding it. And there's been a bill to try to get that funding worked into the TISA formula. And it's currently sitting behind the budget, which means that if someone would say, yep, we've got money in the state to pay for that, we'll do it. But they're not saying that. And yet they're putting the money in the private schools. So other things that might be interesting to know. the way the legislative session works is that members of the legislature have to file all bills early on. So all bills that will be filed for this legislative session have been filed. However, it is important to note, as TSBA says, that many bills are currently caption bills. I didn't know what this was until I started being the legislative person. They say a caption bill is a tool that many legislators use as a placeholder for legislation that has not yet been drafted. And so part of what this means is later on, they can sub in something that they want. So while technically all bills have been filed, really sometimes they slip in things like they did with like the third grade retainment thing years ago. Here are a few bills on the calendar for the week. One of them is, Senate Bill 1719 authorizes counties and cities to create, by majority vote of the local legislative body, so the county commission, I assume, the elected office of school superintendent. So that one would take the power to choose director or superintendent away from the school board and give it to the county commission. Another bill, Senate Bill 2107, is a sort of update of who can conduct searches of students at schools. This allows another school employee to do it if the principal or administrator on duty isn't there, is out of the building, and is busy and something needs to happen. The third one allows public comment at open meetings regardless of whether the matter is listed on the agenda for the meeting. So those are a few of the things coming up. Then on page 3, and you can go home and check on things yourself, but TSBA has a legislative bill tracker. This is the version for the week, and so you can see kind of all the bills related to education that they have listed. And so here are a few, again, so Bolso and Henley have one, the No Pride Flag or Month Act. Bolso and Hensley also have one, the Protecting Religious Liberty and Expression in Public Schools Act. House Bill 1740 from Glynn and Akbari would allow a child with a medical condition that keeps the child from attending school to get an individual education account for a homeschool program. There's another one. There was a change in like food dyes and things, so this would expand the restrictions by, so there's a prohibition on Red 40. It would prohibit a lot of, like all artificial food dyes in school nutrition programs. So there's always a really wide array of things. If you find yourself with a spare hour or a day, feel free to read through the many and see what's in there, because there's probably something that's interesting to you. There's one that that comes from federal law that touches on a resolution that we passed, and then a couple of federal updates here. So Congress has passed an education budget. Here's what was interesting from that one. It says, ultimately, Congress comprehensively rejected the Trump administration's proposal to slash billions of dollars from federal education investments. Again, according to this article from Education Week, they said schools nationwide can expect roughly similar year-over-year funding levels this fall for key programs like Title I for students from low-income households, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, for special education services, Title II for professional development, and Title III for English learners. And then the last one, so we know that vouchers are a thing in the state of Tennessee, and school choice. And part of President Trump's big, beautiful bill also kind of built in a school choice piece with an education freedom tax credit worth up to $1,700. And the way a tax credit works is if you donate the money, each dollar that you donate is basically $1 off what you owe in taxes, more or less. And so there was an article, the federal choice program is here. Will it help public school students too? And I think Governor Lee has either opted in already or is opting in, not surprisingly, based on vouchers. And so part of this article was kind of wondering whether there's a way for this to benefit public schools. And so one chunk was public school foundations that help districts raise money for special initiatives or college scholarships are strong candidates to become scholarship granting organizations, Heiner said. Many already help students directly. and they could expand their direct support for students. So there may be ways that we can try to help get some benefit for public schools through these things that really were intended to only benefit private schools.
Sarah, if people wanted to go in to read about these bills and these laws, the information is here on the website for them to get in. If you go in, her legislative report is there with links. If you want to get in and find out what's going on and what bills are affecting your children, the links are in here on, to go on the website and just look under her name for the legislative report.
Yep, so if you go to our agenda, so the bill tracker goes to TSBA. It includes all of the education-related bills. You can also go to the state's government website and look up the bill numbers and read more. And as always, if you have thoughts on any of this or anything else related to education, please be in touch with our state legislators and our federal ones. Thanks.
May I add a couple of things?
Of course.
What we hear, what we heard from Governor Lee, what we hear every time we open our tablet or look at the paper. Okay, I got it. What we hear is that this is parent choice. This is not parent choice. This is private school choice. You understand that these private schools choose who can come and who cannot attend. So parent choice, in my opinion, is a misnomer for this millions of money that is coming out of your taxes to pay for private schools. One of the things you kind of skimmed over, because you had a lot, is that
Push your button again.
Push it again.
push it again.
And take your finger off.
I need the tech person up here helping me.
Take your finger off. Take your finger off.
I don't have to do that. Okay. The other thing is, see, you made me lose my train of thought. I'm sorry.
So are you starting over?
You gonna start?
No, don't want to start over.
It's not parents' choice.
What I was going to tell you is, if you have followed this trend in our country, it is bankrupting some of the states. Last year, the state of Arizona could not provide necessary clean water for the residents of the state because they could not afford a system of public education and a system of private school education. It has happened in Indiana. Florida is drowning from it. And as I hear proposals to continue to pour millions of dollars into this in the state of Tennessee, it's very concerning to me. It's very concerning to me about where our state might be in 3 years or 5 years. Also, Sarah pointed out, you don't really know how many of these students that are receiving these vouchers or education savings accounts, you don't know how many of them were already attending these private schools and their families were making sure that was what they wanted for their child. So you're supplementing with your tax dollars the education of children who were already receiving a private education. Now our tax dollars are supplementing that. I just think it's important that those of us who care about public education, really care about public education, understand that this has the potential for going in a really bad direction. And it is my personal belief that one of the strongest pillars, and you talked about pillars, of our country is that public education is available for everybody. We have a system of public education. I hate to see it dismantled or weakened to the point that we don't have that to add the strength to our nation. So.
Recently, I think we were told that the state is supposed to have something in place now to track those students. And another thing that's kind of a sore spot is the fact that the achievement of those students is not tracked. So we have no idea how well they are or they aren't doing, and you can't compare apples and oranges. So you know, we need to be on a level playing field. That's another issue.
It's certainly an issue, and we heard from Clark Memorial and the progress that they're showing in their school, but we haven't heard from the private schools. If they are assessed, they're not using the same instruments, so you don't know what they're using. And I've said in many public groups, I'm not opposed to private schools. I'm not opposed to private schools. If it's the right place for a family or for learners, and the family provides that, that's certainly a choice. But right now, it is not a parent choice. It is a private school choice about who gets to come and who doesn't. And the ones that they don't want coming are back in public schools, and we welcome them.
That's true, and also, those students that need special ed services, even though they're in a private school in our county, our school district still has to provide services for those students. And to another point on the test scores, the students that are going on the voucher scholarships have to be administered TCAP, just like our students are. The catch is, you have to have a threshold number in order for that to be reported or for it to count. So most likely, you don't have that threshold met at most grade levels in the private schools. And I'll get off my soapbox. Okay.
I'm all fine too.
Okay, all right. We'll move on. Thank you, Ms. Verhesky. Let's move on to our finance and Ms. Jenny. You're up.
Very specific questions.
Well, I appreciate, again, as I say, every board meeting, thank you for getting information to us ahead of time so that we have time to look at this and try to digest what's going on.
I apologize for the late budget amendment.
It's okay.
This year's financial report, like I said, the sales tax is down from last year, but we are still up overall year to date. The budget amendments, there are two budget amendments, most are pretty basic. Just budgeting grant funds and different revenues. The resolution for the transportation equipment is simply allowing us to take any money that is left in this year's budget and earmarking that within the fund balance to be able to use for the same purpose in following year's budgets. And the resolution for the multi-year contract with Edmentum is a company that we already contract with. They're just reiterating their contract. This is simply saying we do have to pay a certain amount year after year. And since that's for future budgets, we do have to do a resolution.
And that's more software for reading and math.
Instructional.
And been happy with the software.
Make a motion to receive and file January 26th financial report.
Well, the other, there's one more budget amendment, and that is. Okay.
You paused there. Motion to receive and file January 2026 monthly financial report.
We have a motion by Mr. Williams to receive and file. A second by Ms. Roberts. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries.
Motion to approve the February 2026 GP budget amendment.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the budget amendments by Mr. Williams, second by Ms. Roberts. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries as well.
A motion to approve the resolution to establish a reserve fund balance for transportation. The resolution to approve contract services agreement between LCT and BOE in Edmonton. And then the resolution amending the LCBOE GP budget for IDEA cost reimbursement.
We have a motion by Mr. Williams. Second by Ms. Verhesky. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Jenny. Appreciate you. Okay, that takes us to new business, and we have a couple of policies there, short ones. Dr. Alsop?
Easy month. So, on policy 5.300, the short-term leave of absence, line 1, 2, and 3 are a violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So we need to remove that. As I was doing some research on the policies surrounding school districts, What I'm suggesting is similar to most of the other school districts, so we definitely need to make that change. And then on policy 5.302, sick leave, we actually do not take 3 days, we take 2 days, so that we've made that change.
So that was just a change to bring policy up to what we're doing,
Right.
correct?
Right.
All right. Any questions on that? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve policy 5.300 and 5.302.
We have a motion by Mr. Williams, a second by Ms. Marhevsky to approve policy 5.300 and 5.302. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. We had a request to address the board. Cason Orr was coming to address, but he's ill and not able to be with us tonight, so we're going to reschedule that for a future date. And before we leave tonight, you can read the meetings that are coming up, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, we lost a member of our educational community this past week, as well as an important, I don't want to really call her an activist, but she was very involved in everything community-wide, and that was Miss Betty Fraley. And she certainly will be missed. She taught for many years. She was still active in retired teachers, served on many legislative committees. So, wonderful lady, and we'll miss her, so just keep her family in your thoughts and prayers.
Ms. Walker, may I just add something really
ma'am.
quick, not about Ms. Fraley. She was absolutely wonderful and will be missed. But this is Black History Month in Tennessee, and I just wanted to tell my colleagues or offer information to my colleagues on this board and to anyone in the audience who might be interested. I have recently been perusing a book called A Most Tolerant Little Town. And, of course, I remember when Brown versus Brown was passed and the Supreme Court mandated that our schools were integrated. Now, I was young, but I remember that time in history. I remember what was going on around me in public schools and in the communities. We all know some of the history and the tragedy during that time up to the Civil Rights Act. I was totally unaware of what happened in Clinton, Tennessee. And this book, A Most Tolerant Little Town, and it's written by Rachel Martin, goes in depth to what happened the first time Clinton High School that was integrated by 12 African-American residents of that community in Anderson County. And I think it will be very eye-opening if you're not familiar with that time in history, and if you are interested in history, please get this publication and peruse it. The author now lives in Nashville. It's extremely well researched. It was 250 pages within the text of the book and another 100 pages that documented the research that this lady did, oral research, unbelievable amount of newspapers, magazines, that kind of media, television media. And remember, this would have been about 1957, I think, 56, 57. But a tremendous amount of media poured into that part of our state. And the role of our governor at that time, it is just packed with information. She researched through MTSU, and that same organization at MTSU has been important in the research and restoration that's been done at Townsend. She did tremendous research through the University of North Carolina, through UT, because that's in the Knoxville area. If you want to know about the state of Tennessee and you want to honor Black history in this month, then I'm recommending that you look at this piece of writing and learn from it. there's a lot to learn there. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.